I had never felt such complex emotions in my life. I'm Dr. Emma Thompson, 32 years old, and today my mother, who abandoned me to die 18 years ago, showed up at the hospital as a patient, and I was her life-saving doctor. My hands were trembling, but my voice was calm. "Don't worry, Mrs. Martinez, I'll take good care of you, just like you once didn't take care of me." Before sharing this story, please let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, because the story I'm about to tell you is the most powerful example of never giving up and facing destiny. I was born in the South neighborhoods of Chicago. My mother, Susan Martinez, was a young woman trying to raise me alone. I never knew who my father was. My mother always remained silent about this. "Emma, your father is an important man, but he doesn't want us," was her only explanation. Until I was 7, I was a normal child. But then strange things started happening. I constantly felt tired, bruises appeared on my body, and I frequently had fevers. My mother initially thought these were normal growing pains. "Every child gets sick, Emma, it passes," she would say. But it didn't pass. On the contrary, it got worse. At age 8, we went to the hospital for the first time. Dr. Gabriel Harrison examined us. He was a very kind man who would give me candy every time I visited. "Susan, Emma's condition is serious. We need to do more detailed tests," said Dr. Harrison. My mother's expression changed. There was fear, worry, but also discomfort. "How much will these tests cost?" "You have insurance, right?"
No.
Our financial situation." Dr. Harrison was understanding. "Don't worry, we'll find a way." The tests were done. The result was terrible. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Blood cancer. "Emma needs chemotherapy," said Dr. Harrison. "Treatment will be long, but the chance of recovery is high." My mother cried a lot that night. I didn't fully understand what was happening. Chemotherapy was terrible. I was constantly vomiting. My hair fell out, I lost weight. But Dr. Harrison and the nurses were very caring. My mother was with me for the first few weeks. But then she started to change. "Emma, I have to work. You're getting good care here," she began saying. Her visits decreased. 3 times a week, then twice, then only weekends. I would watch other children's families in the hospital. Mothers and fathers were constantly by their sides, reading books to them, playing games. "Why isn't my mom here?" I asked Dr. Harrison. "Your mother works very hard, Emma. She loves you very much, but she has to make a living." But I understood. My mother was avoiding me. At age 9, my treatment had entered its 8th month. My mother now came once a month. Phone calls had also decreased. "Mom, when will I come home?" "I don't know, Emma. The doctors will decide." There was coldness in her voice, as if I weren't her responsibility. When I was 14, we learned that the cancer had relapsed. I had been in remission for 5 years, had returned to normal life. But the cancer came back. "More aggressive treatment is needed," said Dr. Harrison. "Bone marrow transplant is essential." When my mother received this news, her face went completely white. "How long will it take?" "At least 6 months, maybe more." "The cost?" "Susan, Emma's life is at stake. I can't handle this anymore." That night, I was alone in the hospital. My mother had said, "We'll talk tomorrow," and left. But tomorrow she didn't come. The next day, she didn't come either. 3 days later, Dr. Harrison came to me. He had a paper in his hand. "Emma, I talked to your mother." "What did she say?" She doesn't want to continue your treatment." My world collapsed. "What does that mean?" She said, "There's nothing that can be done for this girl. I can't take care of her anymore. Let the state take her." I didn't cry that night. I was too shocked. How can a 14-year-old child understand that her mother abandoned her? "Dr. Harrison, am I going to die?"
No, Emma.
"I'm sure you'll recover. And here, in this hospital, you have a family." Dr. Harrison kept his word. He applied to adopt me. The hospital administration also supported it. "Emma, if you want, your name can be Emma Harrison," he said. But I refused. "I want to be Thompson. It reminds me of my grandmother." My grandmother, Clara Thompson, was my only source of love. I had lost her when I was 7. A bone marrow transplant was performed. The compatible donor was Dr. Harrison himself. "You carry my blood now, Emma. This makes you very strong," he said after the surgery. Treatment lasted 8 months. This time, Dr. Harrison, Nurse Linda, and the hospital staff were by my side. At 15, I completely recovered. The cancer was gone and never came back. "Emma, you're a miracle," said Dr. Harrison. "But the real miracle is your determination." When I left the hospital, I had made my decision. I would become a doctor. Just like Dr. Harrison, I'll help children, I told myself. My high school years passed quickly. I lived in Dr. Harrison's house, learning medical topics from him. "Emma, prepare for Harvard Medical School exams," he said. "You can succeed." At 18, I was accepted to Harvard. I had received a full scholarship. "Dr. Harrison, thanks to you."
No, Emma.
"Thanks to you. I just gave you the opportunity." Harvard Medical School wasn't easy, but I was full of motivation. My classmates came from wealthy families. I was a girl who grew up in a hospital. "Where are you from, Emma?" they would ask. "From Chicago." I decided to become a doctor since childhood. I wouldn't tell my whole story. It was too heavy. For 4 years, I got the best grades. I was especially first in pediatric diseases classes. "Emma, you're very talented in this field," said Professor Williams. "You have a special connection with children." Because I was once a sick child too. When I graduated, Dr. Harrison shed tears of pride. "Emma, you're a real doctor now. But you'll always be my daughter to me." I did my pediatric specialization at Johns Hopkins, the most prestigious program. For 3 years, I worked day and night. I saw myself in every sick child. "Dr. Thompson, you understand children very well," said head nurse Sarah. "I know their fears." At 28, I completed my specialization. Now I was Dr. Emma Thompson, pediatrician. Job offers came. New York, Boston, Los Angeles. But I decided to return to Chicago. "Why, Emma?" asked Dr. Harrison. "Because this story started there. It should end there." I started working at Chicago Children's Hospital. In 3 years, I became the most successful doctor in the clinic. I began attracting media attention. Headlines like "Miracle Dr. Emma Thompson" were being published. The youngest doctor to become department head at 32. The doctor who beat leukemia and now saves other children. But no one knew my real story. The part about my mother. I was developing new treatment methods for childhood cancers. My articles were recognized worldwide. I developed a treatment method called Dr. Thompson's Protocol. It increased recovery rates by 40%. I was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Medicine. "Emma, you're now one of the world's most famous pediatricians," said Dr. Harrison. "But I'm still that abandoned sick child."
No.
"You're now the hero who saves those children." Despite my professional success, my personal life was empty. My relationships didn't last long. "Emma is constantly at the hospital," said my last boyfriend, David. "This relationship is consuming you. I'm focused on saving children. But you need to live your own life too." We broke up. I was alone again. "Dr. Thompson, why don't you get married?" asked Nurse Lisa. "I'm unlucky in love, I guess." But the truth was, my mother's abandonment had made me guard against love.
It was a cold March morning.
I was doing routine examinations in the clinic. "Dr. Thompson, there's an emergency patient," said Secretary Jennifer. "What's her condition?" "Middle-aged woman, chest pain, shortness of breath." I ran to the emergency room. A 52-year-old woman was lying on the stretcher. At that moment, the world spun. It was my mother, Susan Martinez. After 18 years, we were face to face. She didn't recognize me, of course, but I remembered everything. "Doctor, please save me," she said in a weak voice. I approached professionally. "Mrs. Martinez, I'm Dr. Thompson. I'll take care of you." But inside, I was in turmoil. Tests were done. She had suffered a serious heart attack. "Mrs. Martinez, you need emergency surgery," I said. "Doctor? I don't have insurance. I can't pay." The same words. The same words from 18 years ago. Don't worry. Let's save you first. I performed the surgery. It lasted 4 hours. It was successful. When she woke up in the post-op room, she saw me by her bedside. Dr. Thompson, thank you. You saved my life. Just doing my job. But then she asked, where are you from? Chicago.
Me too.
Do we know each other by any chance? My heart raced. Maybe. That night, I examined my mother's file. She had passed medical records. 2006 to 2010, treatment of daughter Emma Martinez's cancer. 2010, refused patient care. Abandoned. There was a note in the file. Mother abandoned child. Reported to social services. These records were in front of my mother, but she didn't know. The next day, I went to my mother's room. She was better. Dr. Thompson, I'm alive thanks to you. Mrs. Martinez, I need to ask you something. Of course. Did you ever have children?
Her face changed.
Why are you asking? For your medical history. Yes, I had a daughter, but she died. She was lying. How did she die? From cancer. She was very young. When? 18 years ago. The anger rising from within was uncontrollable. Mrs. Martinez, that child didn't die. What do you mean? Because that child is standing in front of you right now. My mother's face went completely white. You, who are you?
I'm Emma, Mum.
Emma Martinez. That sick child you abandoned in this hospital 18 years ago. She went into shock. This is impossible. Very possible. I'm that child. And now I'm your doctor. She started crying. Emma, my daughter, you.
Yes.
Not only didn't I die, I became a doctor. I grew up where you abandoned me. Emma, I was very young then. I was scared. How could you manage to abandon a 14-year-old sick child? I didn't know what to do. Debts, hospital expenses. Do you remember Dr. Harrison offering financial help? I remember, but you chose to give up. My mother covered her face with her hands. Emma, I was a terrible mother. I don't expect you to forgive me. Why? Because when you got sick, I collapsed. I couldn't cope. Alone, without money, I was scared. What about now? Did you ever wonder about me for 18 years? I thought about you every day, but I thought you had died. Because that's what you said. You said, there's nothing that can be done for this girl. I made a mistake. A big mistake. We talked for days. My mother told the truths. Emma, I was depressed during that period. I was using medication. I couldn't think properly. Why didn't you get help? Pride, fear. I don't know. What about afterwards? Didn't you search for 18 years? I searched. But the hospital said the patient died. This was partially true. My mother didn't know I had changed my last name. Emma Martinez died. Emma Thompson was born. Emma, you're a miracle. You both recovered and became a doctor. Thanks to Dr. Harrison. Who is he? My real father. The doctor who adopted me. So, who is my biological father? My mother hesitated. Emma, that's another story you have to tell. It's my right. Your father was a lecturer I met at Harvard. He was married. What's his name? Michael Davidson, medical professor. I was shocked. Professor Davidson was my teacher at Harvard. Did you ever talk to him?
No.
We never spoke after you were born. A week later, my mother's health improved.
She was discharged.
Emma, can I see you again? I don't know, Mom. I need time. I understand. But know that I missed you every day. After my mother left, I called Professor Davidson. Emma,
How are you?
I saw you on television. Professor, I need to have a private conversation with you. Of course, whenever you want. I went to Harvard. We met in Professor Davidson's office. Professor, do you know Susan Martinez?
His face changed.
Why are you asking? Because she's my mother, and you're my father. There was a long silence. Emma, are you Susan's daughter?
Yes.
And yours too. My God, I never knew. Because my mother didn't tell you. What happened to Susan? Where is she? I told the whole story to Professor Davidson. Everything. Emma, if I had known, if I had realized, what would you have done? I would have taken care of you. Definitely. Professor Davidson was shocked. Emma, I'm married, but you're my daughter. I want to take care of you. I'm 32, Professor. It's too late now. It's never too late. You became a successful doctor. I'm proud. Really? Of course. I knew you were my most successful student, but that you were also my daughter. This situation was complicated. A month later, I met with my mother in a small cafe. Emma, I'm very sorry. Abandoning you was the biggest mistake of my life. Mom, I forgave you, but I can't forget. Never forget. I was a terrible mother. But now you're a different person. I've been feeling regret for 18 years. I think about you every night.
She really seemed changed.
Mom, if you want, we can slowly repair our relationship. Really? Do I deserve this chance? Everyone deserves a second chance. My mother and I slowly built our relationship. We met once a week, talked. Emma, how did you become so strong? Because I had no other choice. You constantly talk about Dr. Harrison. I want to meet him. Are you ready? He's my real hero. I introduced Dr. Harrison and Professor Davidson. You saved Emma's life, said Professor Davidson. I just gave the opportunity. Emma saved her own life, said Dr. Harrison. It was an interesting situation. One father had saved me, the other didn't even know I existed. Emma, you're now lucky to have two fathers, said Dr. Harrison. This family reunion made me even stronger. I became more successful at work. Emma's new treatment protocol began to be applied worldwide. I appeared on the cover of Time magazine. Doctor of the Year, Emma Thompson. In the interview, I told my whole story. My mother abandoned me at 14. 18 years later, she became my patient. I healed her. My story had a huge social impact. Thousands of messages came. Dr. Thompson, you gave me hope. I was also an abandoned child. Now I want to become a doctor. I decided to reconcile with my mother. These messages made me very happy. I founded the Emma Thompson Foundation. It helped abandoned sick children. Every child deserves love, I said at the opening. My mother also wanted to volunteer at the foundation. Emma, I also want to help abandoned children. Maybe I can somewhat compensate for my mistake. At 35, I married Dr. James Wilson. He was also a pediatrician. Emma, you're wonderful. Your past has made you stronger, he said.
Yes.
I'm happy now. At the wedding, my mother, Dr. Harrison, and Professor Davidson were there. 3 families together. Emma, you're my miraculous daughter, said my mother, shedding tears. Now I'm 37 years old. I have 2 children, Michael and Clara. My relationship with my mother has greatly improved. She became a perfect grandmother to her grandchildren. Emma, I was a bad mother to you, but I'm trying to be a good grandmother. Dr. Harrison is still the most important figure for me. You're my source of pride, Emma. Professor Davidson is also in my life. I met you late, but you're my most precious daughter. The most painful experience in my life actually became what made me strongest. My mother's abandonment left me alone, but also made me independent. My illness broke me, but also developed empathy. Orphanhood isolated me, but later I found my bigger family. Now, every day, I save abandoned children. I give them hope. You're strong too. You can succeed too, I tell them. And my mother? She also changed. She faced the pain of the past. Emma, you forgave me. Now I'm learning to forgive myself too. Sometimes life's greatest tragedies turn into the greatest triumphs. I am living proof of this. If this story inspired you, share your own experiences in the comments. What difficulties did you face? How did you stay strong? Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, because real stories give real hope. And remember, sometimes the greatest pains turn into the greatest strengths. My story is proof of this.